Hey guys, it's Melanie. Welcome back, or welcome if you are new. I hope you are having a fantastic day. In this video, I want to share a post-burn review of Scentsy Cider Mill. If you are not familiar with this fact yet, if this is a surprise to you, yes, surprise, Scentsy is now making candles. They announced this change at their, I think it's called their Scentsy Family Reunion that happened a couple of months ago here. If you're newer to my channel, I'm not a consultant. I'm just a Scentsy consumer. I actually purchase all of my Scentsy products from my best friend, Lisa. So yeah, Lisa is actually the one who sent me a text and was like, you're never gonna guess. And I was pleasantly surprised by this news. Personally, I do think it makes sense for Scentsy to offer candles and wax melts and warmers, you know, and all the other things that they do. They are a home fragrance company. And, you know, even though their tagline has always been flameless home fragrance, or quote unquote safer home fragrance, because there was no flame involved, I am someone who utilizes both wax melts and candles. So, you know, I definitely am a huge advocate of safely burning your candles. You know, obviously never leave them unattended, or don't leave the house while you're burning candles. It's a little different with wax melts. If you forget to turn your warmers off, it's, you know, maybe not as big of a deal, but yeah, I really did think this was a good decision on Scentsy's part, because as someone who really loves a lot of Scentsy fragrances, I think it is a fantastic idea to be able to have the choice between wax melts and or candles. So yeah, I was one of the people who was excited about this change, but I tell you what, I think that Scentsy probably, maybe, not maybe, I think they should go back to the drawing board on the formulation of these candles. If you missed it, I did already review the pumpkin roll. That particular candle, while it had an incredibly clean, beautiful burn overall, the strength and throw were absolutely abysmal. And if Scentsy is going to call this a luxury candle product, I think they are going to have to actually scent the candles in order to, you know, qualify for usage of that term. Again, I really thought that the overall burn quality was fantastic, and that is something that's very important to me personally. But for me, when I purchase home fragrance, I specifically purchase those products with the intent of fragrancing my home. And these first two candles here didn't really do that. So anyway, if you missed the review of Pumpkin Roll, I'll link it in the description box. It's not going to be vastly different from this one, but if you're interested, it will be linked down below. But yeah, let's go ahead and dig into this. I'll talk a little bit more about the price point, the size, and all of that stuff here in these next few parts of the video. But yeah, I just wanted to give you guys a little intro here, so that those of you that are like, wait, what? Scentsy now has candles, that you guys have an explanation. Yep, this is a thing now. So let's go ahead and dig in, and let me tell you about my experience with Cider Mill, because as you can see, I'm actually on the last burn here. So let's dig in. I am anticipating some questions about the candle holder that I have here, or the candle pedestal that I'm using. This is a Homeworks candle pedestal that is unfortunately not currently available. This was a really popular design, and the couple of times that it was released, it sold out very quickly. I wish I could link this for you, but it's unfortunately not currently available. So yes, that's what that is. It is a Homeworks candle pedestal. All right, let's go ahead and dig into Scentsy Cider Mill in candle format. Okay, First of all, these candles retail for $30 and the size is 12.5 ounces. So a decent size, but you know, kind of on the smaller end of the spectrum. Bath & Body Works candles, I believe, are 14.5 ounces. The Kringle 2-wick candles, hold on, I have one here and I'm looking at it. The Kringle 2-wick candles are 22 ounces. So yeah, in terms of the size or the amount of wax here, I would say that these are on the somewhat smaller end of the range. It is a 2-wick. This is a soy wax blend. And the candle design does not vary from fragrance to fragrance. So you are getting the same jar, at least right now, with the 2 fragrance that this is a very limited release here for Scentsy. So like I said, they just started out with 2 fragrances. So from what I can tell so far is that this is just one of the formats that they're going to have available. So they're just kind of, I guess, testing the waters here. There might be a 3-wick coming. There might also be a 1-wick option, but I don't know why you would buy a 1-wick option. If it's going to be even lighter than this, I would say skip it. A larger version, maybe that will give us a little more oomph. But yeah, definitely I think there could be some improvement here, especially with these not being put on any type of regular sale. Those of us who purchase candles on a regular basis, and I'm making some assumptions here, but I'm going to assume that most of us usually wait for the different candle companies to have some kind of sale, or unless we have a discount code or something, most of us are not purchasing candles for full price. Maybe every once in a blue moon, if there's something really special, yes. But even if there is something really special, I will look for a coupon. I will make that a project for myself to save myself a little bit of money. The only real way that I can see in terms of like saving on these candles right now, you know, unless they go into the clearance section as, you know, the seasons pass by, or you can probably cash out rewards. Maybe you're having a party or something, you can cash out those rewards and put that towards the candles. I don't know. I don't really host parties or anything like that, so I don't have any rewards. So I think that the $30 price point based on the performance is just, it's a lot to ask. So, but yeah, you're not getting different color jars. You're not getting different labels. The candles pretty much look the same candle to candle. Just the scents are going to vary, and who knows what this looks like in its final form, because again, they are just now starting to release the candles. And I really feel like because they did such a limited release that they're really like testing the waters here. And hopefully people are sharing their honest thoughts on these candles so that hopefully Scentsy can make some improvements here, because I do think there is potential for these to be really good. But I think they're gonna have to revisit the price point or build in some kind of like weekly or, you know, semi-weekly candle sales situation so that they're actually able to compete with other candle companies. Because if they don't do that, I can't imagine that very many people are going to be clamoring for these. So I have not even gotten into the actual fragrance here, so let me actually go ahead and do that. We'll discuss the strength and throw of this one, and then, you know, once again, we'll talk about the overall burn quality, which I really don't actually have any complaints about, and then we'll just kind of wrap this up with a pretty little bow here. But anyway, the description for the cider mill candle reads, brings together fresh apples, crushed pumpkin, and simmering spices for a cozy autumn treat. Okay, This is a great fragrance, you guys. It is a really perfectly sweet, perfectly spiced, like apple cider type scent. This is not an exotic fragrance. You've smelled scents like this with other, home fragrance companies before, but I think Scentsy's version is, it has a particularly nice apple note that is just so perfectly sweet, so juicy, so authentic. The pumpkin it kind of sets the fragrance apart from some other cider scents that are on the market. Again, it's just like a hint of like a sugar pumpkin note. And the spices, again, really soft, really pretty. There is a nice little hint of clove in here. There's like a little bit of nutmeg to my nose, a little bit of cinnamon. For me, Cider Mill has always had more of an emphasis on that juicy, crisp apple note more than anything else. And that's what I've always really enjoyed about this fragrance in the wax melt format. It's fantastic. It smells exactly like the wax melt, and it's a great fragrance. I have no complaints about that. But let's get into the part here where I do have some beef with the Scentsy candles so far, and that is the strength and the throw. I would say that Cider Mill is marginally, and I'm talking marginally better than the pumpkin roll in terms of strength and throw. I decided to place the Cider Mill in the little hallway that connects my office to the kitchen. And there's like a little nook in the wall there. And when I would walk past that nook going into the kitchen, which I do multiple times a day when I'm working from home, I got some decent whiffs of this as I was walking past it. But I could not smell it in my office, which was only a few steps away from where this nook is in this hallway. And I could not smell it in the kitchen, which again, only a few steps away from this nook in the hallway. So the whiffs that I got when walking past it were basically the only fragrance experience that I got out of this candle. So every once in a while when I would need a glass of water or a snack, yes, I could smell this as I'm walking by, but that was it. I mean, the strength and the throw, if I have to put a number on it, I would maybe give it somewhere between a 2 and a 3 in terms of strength, and I don't know, probably a 1 or a 2 in terms of throw. I feel like that's even being generous with this one. I think I maybe just have higher standards when it comes to candles. I really do expect them to at least have a solid medium strength and throw. Somewhere in the range of 6 to 8 is kind of my ideal, especially for a 2-wick tumbler of this size. And that might just be a problem with my expectations, but I don't want anyone to be disappointed when they order these and they start burning them and they're like, what the heck? So yeah, just sharing my experience with these. So hopefully it's helpful. I don't know. For what it's worth, I feel like there needs to be some revision, specifically with the amount of fragrance oils that are used here. They need to amp this up. If you're going to compete with all of the thousands of candle brands that are currently on the market, you're just gonna have to do better than this Scentsy. And I think they can do it. I love my Scentsy products. I've purchased them for years. Lisa doesn't force me to buy this stuff from her. I definitely do it willingly. I genuinely like their products, but I think this one is it's a flop, and I think they can do better. So here's hoping they can maybe revisit and amp up the strength and the throw, because once they do, I would be happy to revisit these candles. But as of right now, I'm a little hesitant to obviously spend more money on any others that are coming down the pipeline anytime soon. I don't know. I think, like I said, I think they can do better. But once again, let's address the burn quality, because that honestly has been amazing. These have an incredibly clean burn. Like, there is no sooting, there's no discoloration. The wax stays the beautiful white creamy color that, you know, it starts out as. I burn these at first for only about 3-4 hours at a time, and then I decided to test it a little bit. One of them, the pumpkin roll, I accidentally left burning overnight because, well, I couldn't smell it. I couldn't tell that the candle was still going. And, you know, because I didn't like visually look for the flame, I ended up missing that candle, and we went to bed, came downstairs the next morning, saw it on the kitchen windowsill, and was like, oh, my bad. That is not proper candle safety there at all. I'm now extinguishing my candles at night by using my eyeballs to look around just in case. But I mentioned in my review of pumpkin roll that typically I go around extinguishing my home fragrance at night based on what I'm smelling, right? Like, I know that this particular candle is still going because I can very easily smell it. But there's going to be times where I have candles like this, which are not as highly fragranced, and if I'm not paying close enough attention, I could miss them and I could go to bed leaving a candle lit. And yeah, I would feel absolutely horrible if anything happened during the middle of the night, just because I, you know, forgot to extinguish a candle, and we were all in bed when it happened. So that's like my worst nightmare. That is the one thing that always makes me nervous about home fragrance still, but you know, just obviously be mindful if you are utilizing candles. But yeah, the burn is great. Otherwise, nice clean wax. The wicks are great. They don't disintegrate. You don't really have to trim them a ton between each burn. And they seem to burn down really nicely. The burn time, I don't think that I mentioned that, but let me pull that up here really quickly. These are supposed to burn somewhere between 42 to 48 hours. And I feel like that is a pretty accurate range. I think that I've been somewhere around like probably 43 to 45 hours, somewhere around there. So right in the middle of that range. That seems to be a decent burn time. But yeah. Anyway, let's go ahead and take an overhead look here. This is my very last burn of this one. I'm just gonna kind of let it go at this point, but you'll be able to see how it's doing. I'm not sure if it's completely pulled. Oh, it has pulled out. Okay, I can see the wick clips. We are almost done with this one, guys. Look at that. But yeah, look at the nice clean burn. Like, I mean, there's a little bit of wax residue, obviously, but absolutely no sooting, no discoloration. Like, they have a great, I would say, wax formula here. They just need to add some fragrance oils to it. Yeah, I think once they add more oils, or, you know, I know they're gonna have to like reformulate this whole situation in order to get that strength and throw, but I think they can do it. I feel like at this point, you know, Scentsy has the ability to be able to do that, and you know, the funding to be able to work out the kinks here. So anyway, for what it's worth, those are my thoughts on the Scentsy Cider Mill candle. Clearly, I'm not overly impressed here with this first foray into the candle world, but I do think these guys can work out the kinks and give us a much better performing product. So I'm just gonna kind of hang out in the background, continue to enjoy the wax melts and the warmers. Yeah, that's where I think I'm gonna stick for now when it comes to Scentsy, and I'll see what's coming down the pipeline maybe in another 6 to 12 months in terms of candles. So we shall see. Leave your thoughts and your experiences with the Scentsy candles so far in the comments down below. Let me know if you have any questions. Hopefully I, you know, shared everything here, but if there's something that I didn't address, I'm certainly happy to do it in the comments down below. I appreciate you guys taking the time to watch. Give this video a thumbs up if you found it helpful. Subscribe if you are new, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care. Toodaloo.